Hi everyone, this is Natasha. I wanted to share with you my favorite inks for detail and smaller stamps. And I'll show you just how small of an example I'm going to show you. It's a little congratulations stamp. It's a little more than an inch long and maybe an 1/8 inch tall. And it's congratulations. And the ink I'm going to highlight today is VersaFine. It's a Tsukinoko product. It is an oil-based pigment ink, so it dries. Once it dries on porous surfaces, it is watercolor and marker resistant, so you can color with it. On matte surfaces, it's nearly instantaneous drying, but as paper is porous, you just need to give it a few seconds for it to not be not to be able to smudge it. So I stamped out a couple of the cubes that I received, and the reason I pick up the cubes, and I have quite a few in my stash, I can't reach it at the moment, is because it is a practical size to have if you want to have an array of colors. This is the small cube size. They also come in this larger pack, and because black is by far the most practical to have when you're stamping images that you're going to color for crafting, card making, whatever you want to make embellishments for your layout. I do have an onyx black on hand, and my favorite part of this is that it's a flip lid, so you don't need to worry about where the lid goes. And I do have a I think I have a re-inker for this, maybe I don't, but the oil-based pigment inks, the VersaFine, stay juicier 3 to 5 times longer than other pigment inks, so you may not need a re-inker or a replacement for a long time. Like, you would have to be a power user. So the other thing that I did is I also stamped out the entire pad just to show you the saturation, and this is just a scratch pad, which is thin printer type paper, so I can show you it does saturate through, but I also pressed down because I wanted to get a full coverage so you could see the different colors: crimson red, vintage sepia, imperial purple, onyx black, smoky gray, a nice option when black is too harsh, majestic blue, Olympia green. So, and this is what they look like stamped out with that tiny little congratulations. Very clear. There's really no feathering. It's a nice, it's also good photo quality polymer, photopolymer quality high stamp. That's from Stephanie Bernard's Stamps of Life, and I'll include a link below to the little stamp set. So this is the Filofax sheet paper that comes with, and then I'll show you the back, that comes with the pocket, and it's not the, this is not cotton cream, this is just a plain white. If you are concerned about ink bleeding through to the other side, as you can see, some of it is definitely darker than the other. The red is barely noticeable. The Olympia green is nice and light. You can also do what's called second generation stamping, and I'll share that with you right now. So I have my little stamp, and let's use the black one because that is by far the one that is most often used. So second generation stamping is just what it sounds like. First generation, you stamp off on a notepad or a scrap piece of paper. See, that's a saturated one. And then the second one, you stamp, and the ink barely is noticeable on the other side. The other thing that you might want to consider if you're concerned about things bleeding through to the back side of the page is to use something other than black. As you can see, smoky gray is a nice option. The Olympia green and the crimson red are also really nice because they make it stand out. Plus, they don't really bleed through even first generation that much. But if you use, let me just clean off my stamp because I don't want to cross populate the black onto my lighter colors. So let's see, let's grab the crimson red and do a second generation on that one to see how well that works. So I ink it up, stamp once, and then it does come across a little lighter, but then on the back you can't see it at all. So that's another option for those of you who are heavy stampers on your organizer pages and you want to see what that looks like. I do have a blog post already up with some close-up photographs of all of the ink pads and the colors, as well as this little stamp sample sheet. I'll include a link in the description below for those of you who would like to take a closer look. Sometimes on camera, on video camera, it doesn't come across quite as well as it does in photographs, so that's why I always include a blog post if I do one. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I will do reviews of other inks that I have, and let me just show you a quick sampling. There's also these little ink towers, which are from Colorbox, and they come in both chalk and pigment. Let me see if I have a pigment one. These are metallics. Here's a basic metallics with a black and a white. Martha Stewart also has some inks, and the reason I like these smaller ink pads is because you're able to get a wider selection of colors without one taking up so much room or spending so much money. So, you know, it's always nice to have a full ink pad for the colors that you use most often, or the heaviest use. For example, for me it's Onyx Black. But then some of these brighter colors, which I know I would never utilize as much in a full ink pad, in one of these little small kind of cat eye ones. So, and to show you, there's a lot of color combinations that these come in. So I will do that in a separate video. If you have any requests, ooh, I dropped that. If you have any requests, please feel free to leave that in the comments below. Don't forget to thumbs up. It's free for you and it helps me out. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching.